Chris, Doug Dodson. Nice to meet you.
Glad to meet you.
Thanks. Hey, I appreciate you taking a few minutes of your time to sit down and talk with me a minute. And
No problem.
won't take too much of your time. I know time is money for you guys and you're valuable. So basically, I'm with Mid-Illinois Services, and we specialize in coming to businesses and assessing businesses and seeing the challenges that businesses face as far as profits and budget costs and so forth. And so I brought a little flip book here I was going to show you. Rather than me trying to talk and confuse you, this flip book kind of helps you see the picture of what we're talking about. So if we get started here, I'll just go ahead and start getting this flip book, and I'll give you a marker, and you can take the marker and mark anything up that you see that you maybe want to mark on. This is the erasable marker, so that's not a problem. And basically, starting out with it is on our agenda here, we got the challenges and trends of owning and operating a business, and your operating strategies, and we're looking for proven results. And basically, we try to assess your building and basically give you some kind of an implementation process. And on this first page, we come to the challenges and trends of owning a building. And are you familiar with the EPA?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the EPA, the industry standard says that most buildings are 30% inefficient or unnecessarily efficient. And basically that means that they're operating not at a high efficiency type of building, which is basically costing money to keep a building operating that's basically non-efficient. It costs you money. Bottom line, costs you money. Was you aware of that?
We didn't give it much thought, but I could see where, I could see that.
Okay. And in this conversation, I'd like you, give me some feedback. Anything you want to interrupt me on, just stop me, because I kind of get going and get jabbering a little bit too much. But I would like your input as much as on this as we can. So as I flip to the next page on our flip book, we got a pie here, and basically this is put out by ASHRAE. Which, do you know who ASHRAE is?
Do not.
ASHRAE is an industry that it's the heating and cooling and refrigeration and engineers that basically put out some data on building costs and operating costs and owner's costs. And basically it put out a little pie chart here if you look at this, and it's broke down into 8 different pieces if you look at it. And what this pie is showing is this is basically an iceberg, and this is the top of the iceberg, and this is the bottom of the iceberg that's sunk in water. And what ASHRAE is saying is basically is that, and this isn't something that we dreamed of, they come up with these ideas, is when you bought your building, did you buy your building or did you build it? Do you know?
We built it.
Okay, so they're saying, and I know it had to be quite a little bit of money for you when you build it. You didn't realize it, but basically what they're saying is from the time that you build it, from the time you tear it down or abandon it, that 15 to 25% of your costs are in the initial construction phase and design and building. And the rest of it over the life cycle after it's built is 75 to 85% maintenance costs, operating and maintenance costs. Does that surprise you at all, or?
Well, yeah, it does, because we spent $5 million on our building, and
Exactly.
I'd hate to think that we're going to be $500 million into it by the time we're all done.
It's kind of alarming to me as well. But if that is the standards, and that is the truth, and that's what they're trying to say. And so that's what we're here to do, is to try to uncover some things for you guys and assess and benchmark some things for you that might help your business for the bottom line budget, to try to see if you can pick up some money and see if the company pick up money and put money in your pocket, or do some capital expenditures. Is there anything on this pie chart that does not that throws you off for a loss? As you're looking at it?
How does administration tie into my maintenance and operations cost?
It's just part of one piece of the pie that is determined by ASHRAE, and basically the salaries that you're paying out to your administration people, that all affects how you operate and budget your business. In other words, if you pay out high salaries, it may cut down on your operating expenses and your budget expenses. You wouldn't be able to have that money for that. But that's part of the equation that they're showing you that makes your business operate. So you have any other questions there? Do you agree with this? I mean, that's,
Well, I see how they've got it broke down, so yeah, so what do you guys do with,
well, if
You know,
if you're interested in, if you're willing to help assist me in some ways, I'd be willing to do an assessment for you. I'd like to come do an assessment for you and show you maybe some solutions or some savings that we can propose to you to show you how to save money on your business.
and you can do that in how many of these areas you think?
There's several of them. At this point in time, we cannot exactly tell you until we do an assessment. We'd like to tell you we know, but each business is different. It has its own expertises, but after the assessment, we would be able to sit down and do a verification meeting and show you some of these answers. That's why if you're on board with this, I would ask that you would be able to help me out. This would help out do the assessment, and it's only an operating costs. Would that be something you'd be interested in doing for me? And also we could benchmark some of these areas for you too. So if
When you benchmark it, you're marking it. What are you comparing it? Are you
to the industry standards.
okay?
Yep.
Okay.
So basically, what I would ask from you, and this would help us out tremendously. It's very important that we could get some of these items, and basically there's 8 pieces of the pie here, and there's 8 pieces here to fill out. But if you could just fill out the first 4, I could fill in the rest of them. I wouldn't need your assistance on it. But basically, on the first one, I'm looking for your energy bills for the last 13 months, so we could assess that. And then the second one would be contracted services. If you had somebody in fixing something, a major piece of equipment, or a rooftop unit, or a chiller, or a machine that went down, or so forth, something that's a major cost. And then any parts and materials that you pay. Sometimes now the parts and materials is in your contracted services, so that might be a little bit of a challenge for you to come up with. But if it's broke out, that would also help me. And then any other major repairs in the last 12 months. So if you could be willing to help me fill out these 4 items, that would greatly help my assessment for you. Would that be something we could get done?
Something we could do. I wouldn't have those right handy with me. It'd take a little bit to get it together.
Would you be the person that would fill this out, or would there be somebody else that you would have designate to do this in your organization?
You're going to benchmark this. What's this all going to do for me?
Basically, try to save you some money. We're going to benchmark. We're going to show you. And we're not done with. I'm not done with my presentation, but we will. As we move on, I'll show you how we're going to try to see where we can benchmark certain things. Where, like I say, at the end, you have.
Okay. Yeah.
You're showing profit.
We could possibly, if I finished liking what I see, I could come up with those numbers.
Okay. Would you be the first person to fill this out, or is there somebody else that would do that? Do you have any ideas what your utility bills were and your contracted services?
Yeah, I would. I could have it done.
Okay.
So.
And if you could give that back to me, and that way we could do the assessment and move forward. This helps.
Well,
this helps.
We'll see what all we're doing here.
Okay.
I'm not sure 100% yet what we're doing.
Okay. As we flip to the next page here, we got a bar graph here, and basically on this bar graph, for a high efficiency building, basically what the industry standards are saying is a proactive strategy is that you basically on a high efficiency building set a budget, and you got a flat line budget. You stay right on that budget. Would you say your company is a high efficiency building, or
we do
low
pretty
efficiency?
good,
You think
things break down, just like anything.
So
once in a while, there's things you can't predict.
So you say you maybe have a little. This is kind of a proactive approach.
We're probably here.
Okay, and this is a reactive approach for a lot of companies because they don't put enough money away for expenditures and so forth, and maybe put some but not enough. So basically, if you fall in the middle, would you be interested in listening to us to do an assessment if we could find solutions and get you back down closer to this flat line budget instead of having maybe something major piece of equipment go out and you have to spend the money that you hadn't planned on it? Would you be interested in letting us sit down and show you show you our assessment and our.
Yeah, I'd always want to get a flat line budget.
Okay, and basically, as I flip my next book over, this is basically how the system works. Is that we're in a concept meeting right now. I'm sitting here with you to talk to you about your problems and your strategies you have. But I also got another sheet here, and this is the action plan that I have with me. And basically, what this action plan is, Chris, is to get a commitment from you as well as from me. It's like a team effort to say that you would be willing to. There's some certain dates that we need to. If you look through this, and I'll go through each one of them, but that we need to get certain dates marked down so that we're all on board, so we know that we made a commitment, you made a commitment, and like I say, there's no cost obligation to this. This is just a commitment. This is not a contract, nothing binding about it. It's just that I'll sign it and that you sign it, that we get these dates set up, that we can get this process going. So we can get back to you and show you what our solutions be. We may not find nothing. We don't know yet at this point in time. Until we do an assessment, we would not be able to tell you. So basically, we start with, would you be interested in signing this and getting some dates together?
What all am I signing on doing?
Basically, we're going to do the concept meeting, which is today, and today is the 12th, let's say, and I've already signed it, and I would like you to sign it, the date it, and put it. We got 2 o'clock today, but on our next meeting, what I would need to do is come and do an assessment, and I would come into your building. I would need to walk through your building. I would need someone to take me around and show me the building, and basically, would that be you, or do you have somebody else on staff that's kind of like does your maintenance?
Bob can probably take you around, show you what all you need to get.
I would need to look at. I maybe need to get on the roof and look at some of the equipment. I'd need to walk around and maybe talk to a couple of your people and so forth, and see how things are going around the facility. If there's any complaints and so forth, is that a problem talking to anybody, or if it is, I don't.
We have some sensitive areas that we can. Bob can kind of guide you through.
Okay.
Well,
I would need to set a time set up for that, and that would be the assessment right here. So I would
next Tuesday. Bob's usually open in the morning, say 9 o'clock. Is that okay?
Yeah, Tuesday's open all day for me. So Tuesday at 9 o'clock, Bob. You do not need to be along.
Okay.
Do you need to be, or you're welcome to come?
I don't need to be.
Well, we wanted you to sign
Come
that.
to the front desk, give them my name, and I'll let them know that you're going to be there.
I got the date and the time sitting, and I would need you to sign that. As we go down each one of these, I'll have you sign these. And then after I do the assessment, then I would set up another time with you to do a verification meeting, which would give you some solutions about your problems that we've discovered after our assessment. And basically, I'd like to do that within probably a week's time period of that. And that would probably take 90 minutes of your time. And if you wanted anybody else in there to be with you, do you make all the financial decisions, or do you got a board, or do you have somebody else that has a say-so in financial decisions?
I have a partner.
Okay.
It's kind of an absentee partner, but on big decisions we discuss.
Okay. The financial part of it?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
if it's, but you're saving me money, so I really don't see an issue.
Okay. Well, I would like to have Bob there if he could, because he's going to walk with me on my assessment. It may take, my assessment may take no more than an hour, I would say. So, so could Bob be at that meeting as well?
Yeah, but Bob's not involved with them.
Okay. You're not interested? Okay, that's
No.
fine. So a week from that date, would that be fine with you?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go to the 21st. What time's best for you on that?
90 minutes.
Yeah, it's going to be about a 90-minute meeting.
Probably last thing of the day, probably 4:30.
Okay, that's fine. Willing to work anything I need to do. That's what I'm here to try to help you. And like I said, it's going to probably take 90 minutes. And then after that verification meeting, there would be a solution meeting. And basically what we do at the verification meeting is sit down and tell you what we discovered is some of your deficiencies that you need to address, we think, that needs to be addressed. And if the verification meeting went okay and you were acceptance on that, would you be willing to sit down, set another schedule and sit down and maybe sign a contract, and we could talk about,
Well, I don't want to talk about committing to sitting down and signing a contract. I don't even know what you guys are finding yet.
Okay. Well, that's what we're here to do at the verification meeting, to show you what we find. So
Okay,
we give you some time to think about it, and then we set another date for your solution. So We don't have to do it the
Yeah,
same date.
If I like what you see, then you
Okay.
know, next day I can.
Next day? Okay, that'd be great. So we'll put that down there. And what time would you like to do that?
4 o'clock again.
4 o'clock, okay. The solution will only take 10, 15 minutes of your time. It won't take a whole lot of time if you're in agreement, so. We'd sit down on the solution date, and we'd sit down and, like I say, get an approval from you and an overview and see what you think, and get into an agreement and a partnership with you on this if you're happy with it. If not, there's no obligation. Like I say, there's no financial obligation, but on our verification, we'll tell you what we discovered, and then that gives you time to think about on solution what you would like to do, and we'll present to you on the solution day the cost to do that. And then after we do that, we could do the implementation day, which could be down the road, a couple, 2 or 3 weeks, and get my people out to meet the staff and meet whoever we need to meet as far as.
Well, let's get through these other steps and then
Sounds
we'll
great.
see if we do that.
That's perfect. I think that sounds great. So,
Okay.
you'd be willing to sign off on all these?
Yeah, we can meet with that.
At least it looks like we've started something here, so that I appreciate that. I think you'd be surprised at what maybe we can come up with. We may not come up with nothing, that could happen too. But it's our goal to try to help your business. The bottom line, basically, make you more profitable. And
That sounds good.
so
Everybody always wants more money.
okay, looking forward to meeting you next week. I'll talk to you later, Chris.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.